Welcome to the Business Renovator, a special edition. This is called Ask a Business Coach. So yes, I am a business coach. This is who I am on live streaming, the Business Renovator. And I'm looking forward to introducing to you a friend and a colleague of mine who's also a business coach, but with a different background than mine. But as I do every time I start one of these, I want to honor my good friend, Brian Monahan. He is the curator and author of a wonderful book called Customer Delight 365 by Brian Monahan. So I just randomly opened up a page just because you can do that. It's one of the ways he suggests we read the book. So today I wanted to go with one from back in the year, June. It says, a healthy attitude is contagious, but don't wait to catch it from others. Be a carrier. Brian's take on that is, my goal for this book is to create an epidemic of customer delight. I suspect you made it this far in the book. You've been now infected with a healthy attitude of delight. This is one epidemic where quarantining the infected isn't a good idea. So let's not quarantine any great ideas in terms of having a healthy attitude, which is a great segue into having my guest join me, Kristen Carlson. I'm bringing her on right now. Welcome, Kristen.
Hello, Phil. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for fitting us into your busy, hectic schedule.
Thank you for fitting me in. It's great to see you.
Well, back at you. So I'm going to ask you, what's your wiffle? You know what that is. So for those who don't know what a wiffle is, it's what we feel like sharing. Something that Kristen has done that she wants to brag about, where she's had an impact in somebody's business or somebody's life, or overcome a goal of hers.
Well, I will feed off of your quote from that Delight Your Customer book. And I was in a coaching session yesterday with a senior exec preparing for the CEO role. And we talked about that. So, you know, their value or their principle was really to serve their customers. But when I talk to him, he talks about how he is so focused on delighting the customer. So how do you change those principles into something that really can motivate and empower the workforce? So I encouraged him to think about that delight. How, you know, what's the difference between just serving and actually delighting the client? So that was my wiffle for today.
And that ties in nicely with the my buddy's book, the 365 Delight. He's working on another one, slightly different approach, same kind of concept and design, but different quotes, and different people would be contributing to it, because his first one was him, but now he's inviting other people like myself. And if you're interested, you could have a page in the book.
Oh, that's
anyway.
Awesome.
What brought you into the business coaching profession?
It's really the next step in what I love to do in my career. So I really was leading teams in the corporate world for 20 years and loved helping people grow in their careers and taking it to the next step and thinking bigger and broader than themselves. How do we impact the team and other teams and the whole organization? And so when I was researching different opportunities for business ownership, I mean, Focal Point just spoke to my heart and really spoke to what I love to do. And it gives me that opportunity to help several businesses to be great.
And where have you experienced those kind of successes as you're in your role as a business coach?
So currently in the business coaching, just with the clients that I'm working with, from business owners that are just starting their business and trying to get over that fear of actually launching and going into business, all the way to, like I said, the corporate executive looking for that next role.
Is there a common thread between your clients that you've come across, or is it unique with each and every one of them?
I think it's mindset. And it's really, I'm looking for people that have that athletic mindset that really they could be great. They're great at what they're doing, but how do I even get better? How do I strive to get better every single day? Really striving for that continuous improvement. And I think those are the people that really connect with me and that I connect with, and really to help them take their business, take their career to the next level.
Do you have any secret sauces that you've utilized that you're willing to share with anybody who's viewing and watching this? That you've been able to implement is what I guess I'm asking.
I think really digging into what their passion is, what are their strengths and what are their passions, and how do they bring that to the table, and how to think a little bit differently about their situation or some of the challenges that they're facing. So I think it's just really building that relationship with them so they're open to share some of the challenges or things that are in the way, the hurdles they're trying to clear, right? And then I want to help them clear those hurdles.
Interesting. So when I think of hurdles, something that popped into my thought process was obstacle illusions. You said often it's mindset. Would you find that there are obstacle illusions as well for your clients?
Definitely. There's fears, there's things that pop up that really, if you can just get them to think a little bit differently, to just take that step, or help them even break it down into smaller steps, right? So it's not so daunting. That can really help get around that thing that's maybe in their way, or their mind is a self-limiting belief that they need to get around.
You mean other people have those kind of thoughts, Kristen?
Yes, we all do. I have them too, but I think awareness is key, right? And really striving to train your brain to think optimistically and positively around that obstacle that's holding you back.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite go-to strategy or tactic to help yourself and your clients?
Well, I really like Mel Robbins' book, The 5-Second Rule, right? And just how to count down, and there's, science behind counting down, and then just do it. So really get your mind off the negative spinning wheel that it can be on, and say, okay, just in 5 seconds, I'm going to actually move forward and move towards that goal that I'm trying to reach.
Yeah. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then jump.
Yes.
Jump in and take action, right?
Right.
Are you familiar with the book Think and Grow Rich?
I am. It's been a long time since I've read that, but yes.
I discovered what the secret is. I don't know if I should share it, because in the writing of that book, Napoleon Hill talks about read the book until you find out what the secret is that he's teaching us in that writing. And when I've asked people what the secret was, what they believe it was, they never get the one that he was intending. So I'm going to put you on the spot, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Well, I do it to you all the time anyway, so why stop now, right, Kristen? What do you think the secret would be? And you haven't read it for a while, so that's not fair of me to ask you. But I'm going to ask you anyway. What do you think the secret is that he's trying to impress upon us in that writing?
I think successful people are able to always think positively, think optimistically, always feel like they can achieve what their dream is. So I don't know if that's directly, but I know that he, worked with 500 successful people trying to find out what that magic ingredient was. And it was all about their attitude.
You're really close. All of those things that you said are actually part and parcel of what he's teaching us in his writings. And for somebody who hasn't read it for a while, that was pretty awesome. But if I was to do the game show noise, wrong answer.
Okay.
Good answer. It's a really good answer, but it's not the answer that he was talking about. You know what? I'm going to let the secret out because the secret was let out on a live stream that I was a participant in, observer. I wasn't on the camera, but the CEO, I believe his name is Don Green, of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, let the cat out of the bag. And when he told me told the group what it was, I just happened to be there. I was totally floored, but it totally makes sense. So there are, I think, 16 principles or laws that he talks about: attitude, burning desire, autosuggestion, the life force energy, which is sexual transmutation, repetition is another thing. But none of those by themselves is the secret that he's talking about. And what I discovered was that the secret answer that he wants us to find and discover in a book that was written about 100 years ago, is in the book 77 times. And I've read the book at least 20 times over the last 30 years. And I never got it until this year. So I'm grateful for COVID-19 because a number of lemonades have come out of the lemons that have been thrown my way. So for all of you listening, and to my good friend Kristen, action. 77 times in the book is the word action. So take all those things he was telling us, but all of those people that were hugely successful in their lives took action, and as taking the action moves us towards where we want to get to. I think that's a really good segue into what we do as business coaches, because we help people take action and push through, like you said, mindset earlier on, right? And help them move to where they're trying to get to, and even help them get clarity as to where they're trying to get to. I'm assuming you're having the same kind of challenges with some of the people you work with. Some kind of sort of know where they want to get to and are looking for ways to make that happen. But quite often they're wandering around, wondering which way to get to, and they're not as clear with what they want to do as they would benefit by being crystal clear. Would you find that to be true as well?
Agree. Yes. Trying to figure out that vision of exactly what that 5-year plan is, where would they really like to be, is key to starting to build that road to get there.
Yeah. One of my favorite questions, and I think you use it from time to time too, is when I have a conversation with somebody who's entertaining the idea of looking for options, and maybe business coaching is one thing that they're thinking of. My favorite question comes from another coaching organization, but it's a brilliant question. And it's something along the lines of, if we were to work together and you think 3 years out, what has to happen in your personal and business life for you to feel that you've got massive value from working with me? That's really eye-opening when I've had the opportunity to ask that to people, because they start to tell us or tell me where they'd like to get to. And often, I was just talking to an optometry client of mine last night. She reached out and had a coaching on demand call and asked if I had time. And we talked to some of the issues that she was facing, and she wanted to also phone to thank me for helping her through some challenges she's having. They've got a new competitor that's come into the marketplace, and that can be scary because now you've owned the market share, and now you've got somebody who's going to try and take that away. So we worked on some things to help her, going back to what you said earlier about mindset, and it was a very fruitful call. Do you have a sample, like a story that from your experience with the people you've worked with, where they've given you a nugget of one of the benefits or gains they've had because they are working with you?
Definitely. I mean, I had a client who just said that she couldn't learn this much about business this quickly without my help. So I think going through one of our group coaching courses, she's just absorbing every nugget that we cover, but really helping her to understand how to build that business, right? How to build a better business is our goal.
And does it surprise you when you get that kind of feedback?
It delights me. I don't know if it doesn't surprise me, but it does delight me.
I'm glad you said it doesn't surprise you, right? I'm really glad you said that, because it doesn't surprise me either.
Right.
I like how you added the delight. If Brian was on right now, he's not. He's busy out doing a field trip somewhere. He popped into somebody's office. He did a live and surprised. There's a group of us it's called Megamind, so it's a mastermind group, and he actually snuck in. And first time he's met Michelle in person. She's a vice president of a placement agency in. I'm gonna try and get it right, Michelle, in case you're ever listening to this. Louisville. So I was saying Louisville wrong. So I got coached by her on how to say it. I don't want to try it again in case I got it wrong the first time. But if Michelle pops in and watches this, she'll know what she'll reach out and say, Phil, you got it wrong. I got to coach you some more. It was fascinating to see the live stream, the two of them meeting for the first time in person. We've seen each other virtually, like lots of people these days have met each other virtually. Have you come up with or helped your clients deal with what we're going through today, virtual versus live or in face-to-face? Have you got some nuggets there you want to share with us?
Yes, all of my coaching right now is virtual, so I haven't really been in person with anyone for a pretty long time.
Right.
I think just walking through, how to share documents, so we can share documents on the screen and just be really interactive with what they see and ask questions, I think, and pause during a presentation to give them an opportunity to share their thoughts and really sink in the topic that we're discussing.
And have your clients found ways to sustain and grow their business as a result of working with you through this virtualness?
Definitely. Many businesses are doing better than they expected right during COVID. I think everyone thought their business was going to take a huge hit, and it might have taken a hit at the beginning, but I think working together and working weekly is really optimal, right? To keep their mind on the goals and what we want to achieve, and making great progress.
I was watching, I'm in Canada, so we have a show up here that's similar to your Shark Tank.
Okay.
I think the Canadians started it first, so I'm going to plug for Canada. Yay. It's called The Dragon's Den. And the reason I say that is a number of the dragons from the Dragon's Den are on the Shark Tank. And I think both shows are good, slightly different. The idea is that people are with an idea, come to the sharks or the dragons to present their idea, their concept, and get investment. And they shared a couple in the Dragon's Den that's just started again for this fall season. And one of the stories that they had, there was three really fascinating stories. As a result of COVID, their business was even more important. Initially, though, like you just said, when it first showed up, people were panicking, and the brakes were put on, and there was uncertainty and all that sort of thing. I think there's uncertainty at any given time. This just magnified it a little bit more, I think. But one of them was a line painting franchise. So they would paint lines on the parking lots, not for the municipalities per se, but for independent apartment blocks or groceries or shopping malls, those kind of things. And they were going out of business, or it looked like they were. There was nothing happening, and they couldn't sell. Even their franchisees were suffering. And I don't know exactly what the impetus was to get them to change or how they came about it. I'm thinking some kind of masterminding approach did it, but their equipment was suitable for disinfecting and spraying. So they provided not a cleaning service like competing with a company that cleans facilities and scrubs down walls, but they would go and spray public spaces with their equipment instead of spraying paint they re-engineered them slightly, made some modification, and then we're spraying on topical surfaces so that they could keep the public safe. And they became crazy busy. Have you seen either firsthand with your clients where they've done that kind of a shift, or do you have a story that you want to share with our audience that either maybe you just saw it like that wasn't a client of mine, that was just a story that fascinated me?
I don't have one specific to, helping through COVID, but I think a business, a large insurance company, really has seen record profits in the last quarters because people are buying insurance. So the goal is really, how can we really delight those customers, right? And delight our clients to continue that progress. But I think just being available and helping with questions and answering the right questions for their clients, and really growing their business during this time. So I think there's a lot of business that are just booming because we're at home, we're buying products, we're buying big ticket items, and they've been open and really helping serve their clients.
Very cool. So you mentioned something about the athletic mindset. Why does that resonate with you? Is that something to do with your past?
It is. So I really
want to tell me?
Sure.
Okay.
So it started in high school when I decided to make a juniors team in Minnesota in volleyball. And at the time, there was only one team in the whole state. So the tryouts included women across the state. And I was shocked when I made the team because I wasn't a top player. But I believe the coaches saw my passion and desire to play, and I'd fit into that culture that they had for their team. So we went on to play 5 nationals for 5 years in a row, and just being a part of an amazing team and really playing at a higher level and enjoying when a team is really gelling and working the best. So I really brought that into the corporate world and the teams that I built in my 20 years. Just how can we be best in class? Always striving to have best in class teams, and now bringing that to the businesses that I'm working with.
Yeah, so I'm thinking one of my favorite lines that I leave in my Streamline file of information is this one: programming your mind for success. So I think you've done that with what you've just explained here, and you transfer that to your clients. This is something I came up with. I don't know if you've seen it before. I was introduced to this concept in a sales mastermind I hang out with. Slightly different though. They had the S as sales. And what business coaches do, we do help in the sales side of the marketing teams and exit strategies. So I changed it to, you expect success. In my life, I've done some improv training. And one of the things they teach you in improv is to say yes. If you say no to something in improv, it's not very funny, and that ends the show. And we don't want to do that. There's a process that we go through, and for it to work, you need to expect success. And when I've had the opportunity to speak with you one-on-one, off camera, and doing it while we were on camera, because we meet like this all the time, right? I really get a sense that this is something that you do, whether you had seen this acronym or not, doesn't matter. You live this kind of approach to life, I believe. Would that be fair?
Yes, that is very fair. Yes.
That's what I thought. So if people want to get a hold of you, there's a couple places they can find you. It's at linkedin.com in Kristen-Carlson, or they can email you if they were trying to get a hold of you at, look at this, it's right there.
Awesome.
And if they wanted to check out your website, they could go here. So where are you situated? I didn't ask that question.
I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Cool. Home of
the Packers, but I'm not a Packers fan. Originally from Minnesota, so still cheering for those Vikings.
There you go. That's awesome. Do you have a last parting word that you would like to share with the audience?
I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak with everyone. It's awesome. And I do have a favorite quote actually from Mel Robbins, and it is, "You have been assigned this mountain so that you can show others that it can be moved."
Wow, I've never heard that one before.
So,
Could you say it again for just
sure.
one more time?
You have been assigned this mountain so that you can show others that it can be moved.
Yeah, I like that. Worthy of being repeated.
Thank you. And that's what we want to help business owners do, is move those mountains, right?
Yeah, or even how to climb over them or bore through them, whatever strategy it takes, right? I find that my coaching experience is that the clients have a common theme, but their goals are different, and where their starting point is different, where their ending point is different. And it really doesn't matter. What we specialize in is helping them understand what their current reality is today and where they would like to be 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, 10 years, in some cases. And what are the things they need to do? I did a live stream earlier today, Kristen, about Eat That Frog, and basically took one concept out of that training that we offer. And that was the 80-20 rule. And a few of the people that popped into my live stream, owners and entrepreneurs themselves, found that they found that the reality of the 80-20 rule is such that 80% of all of our successes and accomplishments and achievements comes from the 20% of effort and focus that we do. So one of the things I find to be true, and you can second this or not, is that by having a coach in your back pocket, it helps you stay in the 20% zone, and then you get 80% more stuff done. And quite often, because they're hanging there, they get more time to hang out with the spouses or the children or coach or start another business. They just have way more time and energy. Do you find that to be true too?
Exactly. Cool. Yes.
All right. Well, my phone's ringing. I know who that is. I'm going to put that on silent. And I'm just going to put him there for a minute. And as we end this live stream, thanks again for being here, Kristen. This will be available on Facebook shortly. And for those in YouTube land, we'll be able to watch this a little bit later. And I will send the contact information or the LinkedIn contact or the link to all of this to Kristen so that you can share it with your community and put it on your blog as well. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yeah, you're very welcome. That's it for another session of the Business Renovator, special edition, Ask a Business Coach.